Good evening, everyone, or good morning. Got things a little messed up here this morning. So we're just going to go ahead, see what happens here. I do not have anything set up for speech chat, so I have to remember to look at chat, which will be a challenge for me. So we need to go an inch, so that's back about the fleet. So hole drilled. So now I can actually go back between centers. It's probably the better way of doing this. At least for now. And the question is, it's being broadcast in both places. It doesn't look like we have anything. Don't we have anyone there? It says offline. Why? I don't know. Okay, no. Then it's going to be strictly YouTube. That's fine. That's what I wanted it to do anyhow. So I forgot to charge my earbuds, so I don't have, I'm used to using speech chat. So when I don't have it, then I'm not used to looking up there to see what's going on. This is just kind of a trial run on some different things. Put my nail somewhere I don't lose it. Not that I don't have more, but it'd be best if I didn't lose it, at least at the moment. Between centers, clean the Morse taper out a bit. Use a cone life center to go into that hole. much shorter tool rest as well. Tool rest needs to be a bit higher because we will use, can bring it in a bit. And we use our skew to rough it down. Not quite enough pressure. Not quite wrong. Okay. So we're going to put a little ferrule on this. As in a little piece of copper tubing. Poor man's ferrule, I guess you'd say. So we need to know about where it's going to be. We're also going to need a size, which it will be small. So I think for now I'll just set it pretty much the outside diameter, and then we can sneak up on it from there. It sounds like a logical thing to do anyhow. Really should have marked that line the whole way around though, to make it easier to see it. You can sort of see it as it comes around, but not that it's going to kill me if it's not there. Set to the outside, so it shouldn't go over there, but that's one of them things, shouldn't, and looks like I'm tapered quite a bit, but somehow or another didn't set that right. Oh, way off. Interesting. Always the way to start the day out is do things wrong. So back to our piece of pipe. Now it won't go over that one, so that's a better place to start. We'll just have to re-drill the hole a little bit. You can do that with just a hand drill. It won't make any difference. We'll cut it off and we'll still have a hole in there, so This time we'll be a little more careful. Still just a shade on the big side. You can always take more off, but we can't put stuff back on, so. Just about there. It could be a little bit sloppy even, because there is going to be some glue in there. But it would be nicer if it would actually be a nice tight fit that the glue doesn't do much for you. Which is about where that's at right there. I'd actually have to pound that on, which is kind of what I would like it to do. Need to go back about another 1/8 of an inch. Hardest part about making the whole thing is getting this little ferrule on there, right? I think it looks good. So are we back far enough? Not quite. A little bit more. Now with a little friendly persuasion, that will slide up on there. Nice and tight. It should be pretty close, yes. So I can go ahead and cut that off right there. Or at least make a mark or something to make that cut off. Might as well use a skew for that. I don't think I necessarily want to cut it completely through. Then it would bind in between the two pieces and go flying, probably. So I'll just cut it off. Be easier. There's no pressure on it, or else I can't saw through it. And now we still have our center point there. That's super snug to go up over, which is okay. So if we take that and tap it, now it went the whole way up. It's curled up a little bit of material there, but this is a shop project, so it's not no super fancy kind of a thing. Now we can go right back to between centers, and we can give this some shape down here, a little bit of shape on the top. Like I say, it'll be a short and quick, short and easy kind of a project, which is what I want for the class, because this class is going to be all about learning to turn. So it might as well have a nice simple kind of a project. For some reason that looks like that's running out of whack. It doesn't really make any difference. I didn't get my teeth back in the holes up there, or I got enough gunk in that hole down there. Should be fine. You just want nice gentle cove going right down to the copper. Like such. That was the bowl gouge I used for that. I'll go to my spindle gouge. Round this over. Make one nice sweeping cut down to the copper, because we don't want to have to sand a whole lot. And we got to remove some material on the back of this one, because we're going to have some markings in there, or some stuff that's going to have to go away because of the drive center. I'm going to grab it by this end when we get to that point. Like I say, it's really just a basic shape, a basic kind of a tool. I probably shouldn't use that method of pounding that up on there, because that made it bunched up on one side. And I've already cut into the copper a little bit on that side. But, like I said, it is a shop project, so it's not like it's going to be a fine piece of art or furniture. I will give it a sand and a little bit of a finish or what have you, but we'll bring our speed back down to sanding speed, something like this, 600-700 RPMs. Get all of our tool marks out, get the marks off the copper as well. Sort of got most of the witness marks away from that, so that's okay. Use the sandpaper to cut that corner off of that. I'm not going to go real fine on the sandpaper. Although I guess I could in some ways and make it like a finished project. think just a simple bit of beeswax I think would do just fine myself. That's beeswax right there. And I won't go up over that top part very much. A nice sticky layer on there. I don't use a sock like Richard Raff, and I use a paper towel. Melt the wax in. And that's the bottom of it finished. Now we're going to have to figure out how we're going to hold the top. If I use jaws, it's going to leave marks. Especially those that have teeth on them. So I think what we'll do is we'll make a teeny tiny little jam chuck for that. Out of the road so that I don't stick myself with it. Probably still will, but it's just a little offcut off of something. I think it was some tops that I did the other day. So I always try and save those little pieces. So we need size of the copper tubing, which that's going to pose, it's probably going to pose a bit of an issue or a challenge maybe. I don't really have a little scraper that's that small. It sounded like a good idea. Copper tubing is half inch, that's half inch, so in theory could actually be half inch on the outside. It's not. It's a half inch. Oh, that's right, copper's half inch on the inside. Plastic is the outside. So if we go to 5/8, it's probably going to be too big. Let's try that once. Sit that back there. This is why we do these kind of things ahead of time, so that come next week, I'm trying to teach this to somebody that doesn't know anything or know very little, then it'll make more sense to them as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Well, that's just a that's a pretty snug fit for that copper tubing. But I'm thinking if I do that, let's just drill it. I'm going to drill that the whole way through the piece. and then I can slice it. And look in between my chuck jaws as they come around to see where when the drill bit is poking through. It is a Forstner bit, so I don't want it to make contact with the jaws. Definitely don't want it to make contact with the jaws. So that there. Maybe I should have left that a little bit in the bottom down there. Then it would have bottomed out. Oh well. Live and learn. So maybe we'll get another one and do that so that it doesn't bottom out. Because I still need it to be centered in there. I can bring my tailstock up, keep it there. Let's have a whirl at it, I guess. See whether it spins true enough. It does, spins more than true enough. Whether it has enough, you have to really take light cut because it's not going to have a whole lot of drive to it, drive force. And it's not spinning perfectly true. And I should be able to get it to go the whole way and get rid of that center point, is the plan. Probably the better plan would have been to have switched scenes to there so you could actually have seen what I'm doing, but that should be just fine. That'll work. Once again, a little quick sand, a little more beeswax. Beeswax, not very friendly to the sandpaper though. I could have waited and did all this at one time, since that's how we're going to hold it at that end. Hardest part is getting the very center, so if we just stop it and go across the grain or multiple directions, get that last little center point out of there. Still a tiny bit left. But like I say, this is not a kind of project that we're going to spend tons of time sanding and things like that. I did go to 400, but that's certainly more than what you'd have to. We'll go back and put our beeswax in. I'm going to speed up a bit so it melts it. Put a nice sticky layer on there. already beeswax on the paper towel. Probably could have just used that. You can see it melt as you go along. It's just using the friction. It's certainly not going to be a high shine finish, but it doesn't need to be. Just gives it a little finished look. And of course the next part is to get it back out of there, which is just fine. I'm going to have to get my drill bit back out, and we'll just drill that a little bit by hand, just to make it a little bit deeper than what we had it, since we messed up on the front end. And I said earlier it was down about the bottom of the flute. They don't have to be, certainly don't have to be super long. And then we'll take our nail. We'll get a metal hammer. And we should be able to tap it in. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to put a drop of glue down in there, and just use a little bit of super glue or something here. Got a little bit of the super glue, thick super glue, slow setting thick super glue. So we'll just put a drop or two in there. Tap it down to the bottom. They are a masonry nail. Their masonry nails are very, very hard. Not necessarily super thick in diameter or anything like that, but clean off our excess super glue there, which will also seal the end of that for us. Go back to scene 1. And activate that a little bit just so that I don't stick my fingers fast to it. So there we have a very simple little awl. Didn't take very long to make. Would have taken less time if I'd have been a little bit more precise up there, that I didn't have to go back and redo things. But it fits in your hand nice. For me, it fits my hand. I like to put my fingers around it, and you would stick it fast or like that, whichever. This you can just take this over to the grinder and spin it a little bit, and it'll become a very, very sharp, fine point. And one of these says grinder. So let's go over to the grinder, and we'll sharpen this a little bit. The only thing with these is they will get hot very quickly because it's not real high grade steel. Probably really shouldn't be sharpening it on a CBN wheel either. But it didn't seem to leave a whole lot behind yesterday, because I did grind the head off of this, where it'd be much easier if I just get the angle grinder out and cut the head off. Very, very light pressure, and just spin it. Get it down to a nice sharp point. Doesn't have to be a super sticky point on there, but a nice sharp point. And then you have something that's useful for a mere really pennies. So That's kind of the name of that tune. Simple kind of project. And that is going to be a wrap for us. I'm really trying out some of the other toys that we got for the stream. Most importantly, the mic. So do something short and sweet, to the point.